all coming in. Jackie's is just delaying the inevitable. A spear from Lyncas finds the heart of Jackie's Isma.
Flank.
Go for it.
Go front, I think. I kill Scanner.
Okay.
Talia.
Okay, Talia might be dead. I think they die.
We win.
You win. Play with Azir.
Rakan has... Oh, looks good. Good job, guys. Good catch.
Thanks.
Good job, Nisqy.
Good job, Nisqy.
I can flash in, okay?
Yeah, Talia no flash.
I wanna chase.
We get Nash.
I chase. Kill us.
I get Drake here. Good job. Nice. Let's go Nash.
I believe Talia flash, by the way, right, Geras.
Okay.
Vitality grab a W in Nisqy's debut in the support position. So guys, question is simple. How did he do in this first game? Carzzy was saying that he inted him a bit. Is that the sentiment that we share here as well?
I think he did pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some mistakes later on in the game, but the biggest worry I had was the laning phase, and it went over pretty smoothly. And I think like some ints here and there are bound to happen.
Yeah.
Especially like...
Feels like home.
Yeah, it feels like home. You know, Carzzy's used to it. The whole of Vitality's probably used to it. But overall, I was pretty happy with how he played.
Yeah, and I think one thing which is really important to me here is when we see the clips of what we just saw coming into this this bit here, he was talking a lot, and that's really, really important. He's not shutting up. He's saying, okay, this is what we want from the team fight, and he really was active. He wasn't being a passenger, and that's a really important thing for me. I think it would have been really easy to just fall back and just say, okay, you know, Carzzy really vocal AD carry, I'll just let him decide stuff. No, he made an impact on the game, even if there was some good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah, and I think especially like the role that Nisqy has in this team, I think is pretty easy in the sense that Carzzy is such a vocal ADC, like we saw in the comms now. He's the type of guy that can just, he can just yap, you know? And if you then also have a support that talks as well, I think that really levels up Carzzy, because then he doesn't have that responsibility to talk that much.
I think from these clips you can see quite clearly Nisqy, particularly when it comes to these kind of transitionary phases between objectives. Yeah, he kind of knows he's kind of messed up and said, I'm a little too far from the team, going for a couple of wards and getting a little bit punished for it. But in credit to him, didn't stop trying, and the team didn't get rocked too hard for that.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is just like not fully...
Let me die. He knows.
Not fully knowing the limits, and it's also just like, sometimes you want to, when you play support, you kind of play this mind game. It's like, you don't know where my team is, so I'm going to walk up and try to fake pressure and get some wards down. But GX was calling that bluff every time, so Nisqy needs to adapt, otherwise he's going to continue dying. But other than that, I think the way he played the team fights, the way his like presence was good, but the rest of the team was the real carry performance.
I mean, who carried then? Because it feels like the early game and mid game was really GX favored up until one fight. I do feel like it came back from the top lane and how powerful this Jax got. But where's the moment the game slipped from there again?
I think there was a moment where we saw just a bit of an overextension on top side, and then led to a bad fight, and then it led to the Atakan. That's where things really started to fall apart. And where I keep my eyes really for a lot of the fights where it started to come back from were the solo lanes. The solo lanes did so much work. You know, Finn was talking a lot about the micro of the Jax-Gnar matchup in top lane. I also think the mid lane for Czajek went much better than we've seen that matchup go historically as well. Starts off by, you know, Nisqy getting caught, but he's Alistair with ult. It's fine. That's buying up a lot of coolness and allows Naak to get like a huge threat onto the backside. It forces the flashes into the pit. That's not enough to save you. It goes into a very clean fight, and after that, you get to go towards the Atakan very cleanly afterwards. It's the Ruinous Atakan, which gives you the Bloody Petals, which gives you that permanent bonus, and it also increases your dragons and grubs and stuff like that too. Yeah. That felt like it kind of broke the solo lane matchups open, even though the Gnar into the Jax and the Talia, the Azir into the Talia can be rough if you play them out in certain ways.
Yeah, I felt like Czajek just had a really clean game, the way he outplayed the mid gank as well from the Rakan, and just overall his mechanics in this game was really clean. I thought when Naako fell behind that GIANTX had a real top lane win con, but just in team fights, Lot couldn't really do anything. I don't know how much of that was draft or how much he was misplaying, but I think a lot of it was just like Naako, when he finally got back into the game, he was so strong on this Gnar.
And it's the kind of things that you can do with Gnar, and for me it comes down to the tools maybe from Czajek, from Naako again, that you can find and how you can make them useful in team fights. And I want to take attention to a Drake setup here that for me was the last nail in the GX coffin, because you can see how well they can maneuver around GX players.
This was really good for Vitality to realize, actually, Jack is a lot. They're not making it to the fight here. And Czajek sees the split fight, gets a massive shuffle in here. After the Skarner and the Rakan have really not made their impact, it's really good kind of mid-fight decision-making to say, look, the damage isn't really going to be here on time. We can roll through this. And before this game, I think Azir into Talia was 1-13 across Tier 1 play. This is an incredibly hard matchup at the pro level, at least. For Czajek to kind of get this kind of performance in a matchup, which is historically, for this year at least, been so poor, is actually very, very big.
It highlights how good he did. He cannot play the champion again, though, because Fearless.
True.
Again, GX is going to be on the blue side here. Third consecutive loss for GX here. I don't want to turn on the alarm here, but what is going to be something they should be looking at maybe in draft on blue side to make situations better for them?
I mean, for me, I think their draft was fine, but I think that teamfight showcases perfectly how much they're struggling to adapt with Isma. I feel like when they had closer, most of the time they were on the same page, but in that fight, Isma is ulting Carzzy, but there's no follow-up because Jackies and Lot are in Narnia. So, like, you need to be way more on the same page because right now, League is all about getting that first initial engage, and the fight is decided based on that. I think they should keep playing like these skill matchups on mid and top, because otherwise, I don't see what they really have going for them, and just keep proactive tools on Jun and on Isma, and maybe a more carry support for Jun, maybe a Rell or something like that.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me, because when we looked at GIANTX when they were doing well last split, a lot of it was through really good support play. Jun is a huge player for this team. Give him something he can win lane on. I don't even care if it's something like the Renata as well. He's been fantastic on that too. Give him a playmaker, give him something that can decide those team fights. That Rakan wasn't making the impact in the lane and the team fights in the way that we know he can do.
Yeah, it's still the first games for this new GX team, after all. Let's see if they can find solutions finally in this best of 3. Game 2 is coming in a few minutes. Casters, take it away.
Where are we taking it? Where do we want to go?
We want to take it to game 3. I want to see GX bounce back and show some life, because I feel like I've seen it 3 games now from GX where they looked kind of, I'm not sure, iffy. Iffy is the word I want to use, because I feel like they're not really locked in. They're not really in their zone, and they're not really making all of these proactive decisions that I want to see from an LEC caliber team.
Do you think that's lack of practice?
It could be. I feel like especially they're very wonky around their objectives. They're either very late or they're really tunneled into it. I'm bringing you back to that time where the Jacks rotated up for the Herald that really didn't matter at all. And I feel like they're just really... The judgment is off sometimes.
Okay, I get that. I get that 100%. Obviously, fearless draft means that things will have to change a little bit. We won't see Naako on the Naak again. Maybe Lot can get a slightly easier matchup, or the Jax is okay into the Naak early game. We did see him getting ahead, so maybe they can keep that rolling. GIANTX yesterday against Fnatic were able to get a lead in game 2, but then struggled to close it out. Fnatic found one good team fight and won the game. They'll be wanting to rectify things for today. GIANTX did decide to go on the blue side. My expectations are they will ban, I'm going to say Gwen, Neferi, and Ivan again.
Oh yeah, and if they're going to first pick an engaged jungler that is just available, Sejuani, Maokai, Vi, I mean, that is an easy bet to say, as they keep the same strategy they came into game 1 with. They banned the 2 Exodia champions on the patch and setting up for the jungle first. But crucially now the Varus are out, so Vitality's response in the bot lane department will not be as potent.
It is a bit of a weakness, though, to have to ban on blue side the 2 Exodia champions, right? Like, we have seen Gwen match up into Rumble and lose. We've seen match up into Jax and lose, so there are picks against it, but for GIANTX to just be like, no, we don't play these, or we don't want to risk giving one of them over, so we'll ban 2, seems a bit odd.
Yeah, so my fear is that Lot just felt a bit bad, not confident on the champion after yesterday's performance, and I think maybe, just maybe, I think GX is a team that really likes when the jungler is this kind of engaged tank jungler, as we've seen from their drafts. And when you draft around an Neferi jungle, the whole draft kind of gets focused on that, and you don't have the same freedom in your AD and mid to just pick whatever you want anymore, because you kind of have to make sure that Neferi can play her game.
I think Isma's done a pretty good job, though, on carry junglers. Like, his Nocturne yesterday was solid, right? There was a couple of mistakes in it, but generally he played really well. So maybe GIANTX, obviously, you play what you practice. There's no real reason to go, we're just going to do carry junglers because of one good game. Maybe they could put a little bit more faith in Isma's ability to carry. Vi is their lock, though.
Wow, big surprise.
Yeah, huge shock. An engaged jungler?
Yeah,
big
and I wonder what Vitality will take as their direction to respond to that, because last game all the engaged junglers were open, but they chose the Pantheon, and I wonder if that's the kind of identity they're leaning into, because here you have some options into the Vi. You could go for like a Xinxia or a Wukong if you want this kind of fighting jungle, but here in Europe it's very common to just see a Maokai as a response here.
I wouldn't be surprised by Maokai. You have so much zone control as well. Maokai, Rell, Nature's Grasp into Magnet Storm. It's very, very powerful. Gives you a lot of control over objectives, which Vitality played pretty well in game 1. And there we go, Finn. Right on both counts. Vi and Maokai, the two locks so far for these two teams alongside that Rell. Obviously, I wonder if GIANTX will look towards AD carry and support here, or whether they will try and get a mid laner early for Jackies.
Yeah, a lot of teams right now globally is liking to pick their top side 1, 2, 3. You pick your top, your mid, and your jungler early to make sure you have the strongest solo laners together with the jungler, because people think the bot lane is a bit more versatile than the solo laners right now.
Yep.
So this is one direction GX could take it. So seeing the Aurora already, you could keep that as a flex and then pick your AD carrier, or you could just solidify your top side with a Vi, Aurora, K'Sante. Very solid, very stable lanes.
Yeah, it was what we saw a lot play yesterday in game 2 against Fnatic as well. That K'Sante had a pretty good game on it overall, and as you say, Aurora very strong as she gets further into the game. Vitality looking towards this sort of roaming mid that we have seen actually rise in priority recently. The Symbiotic Souls Galio, a good example of it. Ryze does a similar thing. Taliyah does a similar thing, just getting around the map as much as possible. But actually looks like they might switch things up and go Corki, likely down towards that AD carry role for Carzzy alongside the Rell, and then leave their mid top for the last 2 picks.
Yeah, and if you really want to, you have the option to slam that Corki mid with the AP jungle in the Maokai, so you really keep your options open here. Most likely we will see them once again give that counter pick to Naako in the R5. Or I mean, you could also just pick your top laner 4 because you already picked K'Sante. That also makes sense. They really have the entire freedom to do what they want here. As we see Leona ban Crucial, they have already picked their support, so they can look to put out the supports that are still in the pool.
Yeah, you could get rid of just the engaged supports. Like Leona and Nautilus ban here would really minimize what Jung could do. You've got no Rakan, you've got no Rell, you've got no Alistair. Like, where are you falling to in terms of engaged supports then?
I like a Braum ban as well.
Yeah, Braum ban would make sense.
I think that would make sense. It's very nice to have Braum against Maokai because you can just block that first ult, put up his shield, and just be very comfortable tanking that first team. But as you said, Nato is also the other option that you could go for here as GX.
Very much agree with you. Tristana band away means that we aren't going to see Jackies on, aren't going to see Czajek on that, or Carzzy on that. I guess if you were going to pick Tristana, you'd probably put it mid and take the Corki down towards the bot side. That feels more normal to me, but still that flexibility. Nautilus is the ban, so I wonder if GIANTX will go towards that Braum just to mitigate some of the power the Maokai can bring.
Yeah, and I wonder what Naako is cooking up for us here in game 2 in the top side against K'Sante. K'Sante kind of allows you to pick anything you really want to, because it doesn't really do like bad into any matchup. And the Gnar is already taken out and the Gwen is taken out, so like the common counters are out. So this is where Naako has to delve into his mind palace and look deep.
Is it Yasuo?
That has to be a Yasuo AD carry, I think, and a Corki mid.
I mean, you say that. Yasuo into K'Sante feels like not a great matchup for the Yasuo. I'm going to be honest. I'm not 100% sure I haven't played that matchup myself, but...
I mean, it's fine early game for sure, but the moment K'Sante starts getting a little bit of armor and that damage really starts coming through, like the Iceborne Gauntlet, then it becomes really hard for Yasuo to get away from him because you can chain those slows into each other and run him down wherever he is. But I mean, Naako is a big Yasuo player, so I wonder if that actually is his pick.
It's possible. I'd be very excited if that does go towards the top side. As you say, more likely in Carzzy's hands down towards bottom lane. The Kai'Sa locked in for GIANTX. What are they going to team that up with support-wise? If you're looking at a Yasuo and a Rell, maybe you do go for something that has a bit of CC. The Neeko works really well later on as well, because as people jump in, you can just pop your ultimate. It looks like it is Yasuo top into K'Sante. Galio going to be picked up most likely for Czajek in the mid lane all the way. But yeah, Yasuo top for Naako into K'Sante.
When I first was introduced to Naako in like 2022, 2021, I remembered him as a Yasuo Yone 2-trick from solo queue.
Okay.
So it's very on brand for him to pick Yasuo in a matchup where it might not be optimal, but he does have a Maokai which works great with the Yasuo, and it does have a Ryze that is really good at moving with Yasuo to a side lane. So his team is really setting up for him to make magic.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he can, right? Because Czajek and he did make magic in game 1. They were the reasons that Vitality were able to win out that game. Now we have the Ryze again. We talked about the roaming in the mid, but that Yasuo into K'Sante is where my eyes are definitely going to be. 7 games played all time for Naako on the Yasuo. Has won 5 of those, so 5 of 7, a perfect score. The last time he played it, though, was in the LFL Summer Playoffs last year. So actually not too long ago.
Yeah.
Just when he was still on a Vitality B in those ERLs.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the Neeko pick a lot from Jun, because when you see this team come from Vitality, it's giving clear that they want to dive in. And when a team is diving in, that's when these Neeko bang-a-rang mega montage ults kind of start coming through, and you get these really good angles. So my eyes are really on Jun this game, because I want to see this guy step up. I still view him as one of the best supports in the league, and I really want to see him deliver on that promise this game.
Hasn't been able to so far this split. I'd say first 2 games yesterday were disappointing. The earlier game today, the Rakan one was solid, but it's always harder when you're Rakan on a losing team, because there's not really a huge amount you can do other than stop people from killing your team as quickly as they would kill your team. They still end up taking the win home. Second game, though, of the day, GIANTX versus Vitality. GIANTX yet to pick up a win across their 3 games. Will it be lucky number 4, or will Vitality go home with a 2-0 scoreline?
Yeah, and I wonder how Naako will choose to play these early waves, because Yasuo, surprisingly, into these melee matchups is a very potent level 1 duelist. He has a lot of damage because his Q is such a short cooldown. Together with a lethal tempo, you really want to push this Kai'Sa off the wave early, because if Kai'Sa just gets his first base off, gets his armor, you suddenly lose the ability to do that, and you can kind of become obsolete.
That makes sense. I think managing to keep the Kai'Sa down for as long as possible really is Naako's job here. As you say, as soon as he gets Iceborne Gauntlet, as soon as he gets a little bit of armor under his belt, it's going to be very hard for the Yasuo himself to deal with that. But that's why you've got people like Czajek and even Carzzy with the Gatling gun getting through that armor and that magic resist later on. Lyncas starting on his top side, as is Isma. I don't think Lyncas was spotted as he hugged the wall, and he's actually going to work down towards bottom side. So it might be an early gank up towards top.
Yeah, and reminding everyone that's tuning in, this is in fact Vitality Nisqy on support. It is still Nisqy on support, his second ever LEC game, and we'll see, just like we did in the last game, we'll look at how he functions together with Lyncas. See if they will work together, or if he's gonna be a little bit of a space crater.
We'll see. Yeah, you know, it's always a little tricky on something like the Rell where you are going in. He's using the Rell tech where you start lane with the shield dismounted. Actually staying in this dismounted form for a lot of the lane can be very powerful.
Also
Lyncas, worked his way around. It's spotted on a ward. He's going to steal away these Razor Beaks. It looks like Isma is going Wolves into a red contest.
Yeah, Lyncas being very aggressive in his early pathing, knowing that Vi, before she has level 3, is a very weak... Oh. Okay, well, he's out.
Yeah. So they saw Isma coming. Didn't know the bot lane was in the bot lane. Jackie's trading effectively with Czajek in the mid lane, though. Czajek misses the overload. That's huge. Has that spell flux already, but couldn't quite get the extra damage down onto Jackie's. Naako still trading with Lot up towards the top side. Q3 from Lot here would be dangerous, which is why Naako dodges away to avoid that third and Tofo. Jun is going to land the root onto Nisqy, and that's half your health just gone.
I will say respect the bravado on Lyncas to realize that, okay, I tried something, they spotted me out, I'm out of here. He's not risking the game.
He just walked around, man.
I mean, I think he was scared of the Neeko coming and cutting off his skate.
You could see the Neeko in lane!
I think he was terrified.
Okay, also...
He was gone with his pants down, okay?
Technically flashing there gets you to your blue buff quicker, so the contest is going to be slower.
And it also makes your flash cooldown go off earlier, so you get it back faster.
Yeah, very
true. He's
very
playing all the games, especially League of Legends. Trying to get his wolves here, trying to get out. The Vi actually went into his jungle and didn't really find much. I think that's a mistake on Isma's part. Isma actually looking for Lyncas in his jungle, finds nothing, and now he has to retreat back to his own little blue side jungle. A sad Vi. So in general, Lyncas now is up actually 2 camps if he can clear his whole top side jungle freely.
So Lyncas, Isma did see Lyncas doing the wolves, but just decided not to challenge for the wolves. Like, he was there, he saw them happening.
Yeah, it was a Voyager.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it's cinema at League of Legends. Yeah. That's absolute cinema, right?
Yeah.
Where people just watch things happen.
Yeah, it's very European.
I think part of it because Czajek had just TP'd back, or was just in the process of TPing back. So if Czajek can move first and Jackie's was still low, hadn't TP'd back into the lane, then maybe Isma would have been in for a spot of bother. As you say, overall, comes out in favor of Lyncas.
Yeah.
CS in the top lane, though, in favor of Lot, who is about 1 whole wave ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, when you pick Yasuo into Kai'Sa, the eyes will be on you, because you need to make this pick work. This is not a normal pick. This is not really a good pick, I would say. It doesn't really make sense in the comp-wise, but he does have incredible individual mastery on Yasuo, and I want to see how far he can push that.
How far, if you were playing this matchup, how far do you think you would be able to like push it? Would you be able to like
as Yasuo?
dominate lane? Yeah, you're Yasuo, obviously.
I don't think it's realistic to dominate lane. With all these defensive tools like Biscuits, Second Wind, Doran Shield, it's really easy for Kai'Sa to just walk up, eat the Yasuo Q, and just take the minion.
Isma not in the better spot here. Twisted Advance, he tried to flash away and get out, but Nisqy and Carzzy are on the chase, and Nisqy still has the flash. Shadowing Strike did connect over the wall, and first blood goes over to Czajek. He also gets a blue out of that, which is huge for the Ryze early game.
He can now EQ all over the map. Just run around doing whatever he wants. He's gonna get that Realm Warp enabled soon as well in that level 6. And he is really laughing all the way to the bank with that early kill.
Yeah, really happy. He also has the tier, so that's just going to stack up even quicker towards that Seraph's Embrace. A small early lead for Vitality. Isma, once again, just a little bit punished for going into the enemy jungle, looking for those seals. Is in an okay spot, but obviously losing that flash. Not very good when he's trying to get up towards that level 6 mark and look for those big early by ultimates.
Yeah, and it might look like Naak is doing great in his lane now, but he already TP'd back with just a dagger, and Lot already hasn't even TP'd back yet and has his TP still available, so he's gonna come back now.
I don't think Naak actually TP'd. I think he
just walked.
cheater recall.
Yeah, he just walked back. But in the end, Lot is very fine in this matchup, gonna get that armor that he so crucially needs, and Naak is probably gonna look for Berserker Greaves.
Yeah, I think on Yasuo you really need those upgraded boots to kick things off. Like, it just increases the speed of your Q, that Steel Tempest, also gives you obviously movement speed, which is really nice on a champion like Yasuo, where you're very dependent on being able to chase people through the waves and around the map.
Crucially. Also crucially, a sneaky Dragon Steal by Isma, queued over the wall. I think Vitality had that information because they had that plan, but they kind of disrespected the fact that Vi can just go over that wall easily and just solo it. So a small win for GX here.
It's a small win. Isma about half a level behind Lyncas in terms of jungle clear. The Grubs are up, and with the push from Naak, it should be an easy enough take for Vitality.
Nisqy is here, ready to fight.
I don't think there's going to be a fight, I'm going to be honest. I think Vitality just get all 3 of these. With Lot underneath tower, with Naak here already, I think it is an easy enough secure for Vitality.
Yeah, look at Isma. He's just got level 5. He's so behind in XP. He's so far away from his level 6. And
maybe they fight afterwards, though.
Maybe they want to look here, but I think this is
Nisqy's going to be behind them.
Nisqy taking the taxi.
On top of Isma immediately, and Isma falls. Jackie's trying to go between worlds to escape. A lot. Almost catches onto Nisqy, but the flash away from Nisqy is just in time. So there was a fight. It wasn't what I expected out of it, I'll be honest. Lot's trying to step forward, gets back towards his lane.
Yeah, ambitious attempt by GX there. I think here Isma just had to be fine with just farming up, getting your level 6. When you get that ult on the VIT, then you can actually start to be proactive. Before that, so hard to make anything happen.
Chun's on his way, can't quite land the route onto Czajek there, who uses the phase rush to get away. Ryze very adept at proccing that phase rush very quickly, does have the TP as well, so doesn't really mind that this wave is being pushed in because he can just teleport back. Jackie's is still on a little bit of a cooldown. And meanwhile in the bot lane, hey guys, AD carries are farming. Isn't that exciting? Well, you could argue that it's exciting. Noah has about a 16 CS lead. He dodged the Q. This is the epitome of AD carry action.
Yeah.
AD carries always remind me of like wingers in football. The hair is more attractive than the plays sometimes.
Yeah, I get that for sure. They have a little bit of this diva personality as well.
Very diva.
They think they're more important than they actually are.
But the problem is they are quite important a lot of the time.
Sadly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy of our modern day. But here we have Naak holding the wave here in front of his tower, trying to make it really difficult for Lot to push it out. The best thing about Yasuo ult into these tanks is that it actually gives a lot of armor penetration into your kit after your ult. So before you ult, you're not going to do a lot of damage, but after that, even though he's a tank, he might still actually fall to your damage.
Yeah, for 15 seconds after you use that last breath, every critical strike you have ignores 60% of the target's bonus armor. So very, very high armor penetration, especially on someone that is stacking a lot of armor like Kai'Sa. That can do a lot. Isma once again looking for a little bit of an invade. Lyncas is in the area. Should just be able to secure his grab. There's a blue to fight over. Nisqy had just recalled, but is on his way back out. Importantly, Jun about 1 minion away from hitting level 6, so that Pot Blossom going to be pretty powerful. Nisqy once again just a little bit behind in terms of XP.
Yeah, Isma got to be fast though. This Realm Warp is soon available for Ryze to come in there and make magic. So I think here Lyncas, when it comes down to the smite, I think the Maokai Q is just stronger, but it does get pushed out. And looks like
Isma goes over the wall here. Pot Blossom will land onto 2. Noah diving forward as well. Immediately cease and desist on Carzzy. There's 1 as Lyncas falls. Czajek wasn't able to get in the fight at all because Jackie's kept him at bay. GIANTX did a great job there. taking the blue, taking the kill. Czajek still looking for that damage, but can't get close enough to do too much more.
Finally, GX finally get something going their way. Good invade and a good trigger finger by Isma to go in and take that fight together with June with the pop blossom doing so much damage and nuking down that Maokai before he is able to walk away with his face rush.
I don't think Magnet Storm totally changes the outlook of that fight. It's Naako. Oh, dashing back and forth, it should be fine. I don't think Magnet Storm totally changed the outlook of that fight, but it would change a little bit of it at least, right? If the pop blossom goes off and Nisqy jumps in with the dismount magnet form, you actually have quite a lot of AoE happening there. So Nisqy being a little bit behind the times in terms of XP did cost Vitality, but not the end of the world for them. It's just one kill. They're still about 1,000 gold ahead. 3 grubs to the good. Of course, GIANTX were able to secure the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, and you would love to get 6 grubs here as Vitality. Getting that for your Yasuo and your Ryze, who will be able to want to push that side end very deep. You want to play a 1-3-1 setup, whether you Ryze and a Yasuo, and having those grubs makes taking those towers so fast. And they give so much pressure because you can't ignore them at all. If they're left alone with that tower for 1 second, they're going to take half of it.
Yep, they really are. They're going to absolutely shred through them. For the moment, though, a lead for Noah for GIANTX. The rest of the map basically in Vitality's favor. We don't really look at gold differences between supports, but if we did, Jun would be about 200 in the advantage. He's looking for Naako. Naako does still have the wind wall available, so it should be fine. Grubs started by Vitality, and no real challenge here from GIANTX. So it's going to be 6 grubs in total for Vitality. The Drake is up, though, and you can see Isma already working his way across towards that Ocean Dragon. Yeah,
GX will just be content with getting 2 dragons and maybe putting this Yasuo a little bit further behind. But really good rotation here by Nisqy makes it very hard for him to dive him afterwards. Sure, they're going to get the Drake and they're going to get the wave push, but Nisqy being here is just a safety belt for Naako, making sure he doesn't get low.
Yeah, it just gives him that little bit of extra security as Jun continues to poke and prod at Nisqy. Jackie's waiting in the bush. Vitality might actually challenge this. Lyncas came across early. The Drake's still there. Flash forward. Pop Blossom coming out. Jun's going to find 2 counter TP being used by Lot. And immediately with the cease and desist diving in, the Rell Warp will get Vitality out. TP expended there by GIANTX, so they have another not now, so that's going to be a lot of time for Carzzy on the top lane.
Oh, what a great Rell Warp by Czajek, getting his support and jungle out of harm's way. But Naako is going very aggressive here alone.
Noah doesn't use the last breath. Would try and get away from this, but Lot's still here. Naako flashes away from Lot in the end and manages to get to safety. All this is doing is buying more time for Carzzy. You can see Noah and Jun trying to get back towards that top lane, but Carzzy, remember, 6 grubs is absolutely shredding through this. Naako dashes in again. There's the Magnet Storm. No last breath from Naako. Looking for the knock-up. Isma going in. Noah dives in with the Killer Instinct as well. Naako trying to dance his way around it, but he had a couple of chances to use his ultimate, and he didn't take either of them. In the end, he'll fall. Carzzy should be able to take the whole top tower, though.
And that's a top laner. You always go for the 1v4. He was trying to make that play. He got a little bit overzealous there. A little bit too excited.
He was given like 2 chances to get out as well. I was like, nah, fam, I'm good. I'm in the middle of this.
I mean, he did so good. He pulled out so many resources from GIANTX, bought so much time. He just had to ruin it. But really good job anyway. I think you gotta laugh that one up. Carzzy got a full top tower with those grubs, and GX doesn't have a lot to show for that rotation. A 1.5k gold lead for Vitality.
Yeah, and importantly, the gold advantage we were talking about for Noah has now dissipated, right? It's a 400 gold lead for Carzzy because he was able to take that entire top tower. You say you gotta laugh it off. I would say, if I'm reviewing with Naako, I'm like, mate, you did everything right, and then you were like, I studied the blade for 15 years, I must advance. Noah here, no flash, does have the cleanse. Naako looking for the knockup, doesn't quite land it there, as maybe just wasn't quite in range, or Noah with the fancy feet was able to get away from it.
I also studied the blade, but I'm illiterate, I'm afraid. It's not really working out the same way when I play Yasuo. But yeah, Naako is looking towards that Blade of the Ruined King to be able to deal with these HP stackers. The Vi and the Cassandra obviously going to buy a lot of these tank items, so he wants to be able to make sure he can duel them in a side lane. But a lot already thinking about it, getting that healing reduction, getting that, rushing that Thorn Mail to make sure he can actually hold his own.
I mean, makes sense. You've got a Maokai as well, who does love to heal through fights, so trying to reduce some of that healing will help you out. Blade of the Ruined King already complete for Naako. That's obviously where that Thorn Mail is predominantly going to be doing most of its work. Vitality now with Lyncas and Carzzy towards that mid lane. Carzzy's already finished his Triforce on his way to his Mana Mune. They're not going to be able to take this tower because Jackie's is answering, but the 1-3-1 has begun. Naako in the top lane, Czajek down towards that bottom side. Doesn't really have much vision to protect him, so needs to be a little cautious when he doesn't see Jackies and Isma on the map.
Yeah, and here you're gonna see GX is gonna try to take deep vision into the jungle of no, Vitality's gonna try to take deep vision into the jungle of GX, while this Ryze is gonna try to be annoying and put pressure down here. And that's gonna make GX has to make a difficult decision. Do we attack the Ryze, or do we contest this next Herald that's gonna come up? They have to make a choice, and no matter which one they choose, they're bound to lose something, and that is the power of snowballing.
It's also the power of 6 grubs, right? The fact that you lose even more if you try and if you leave someone undefended on a tower makes it very difficult for GIANTX to actually make productive decisions. They have got the first 2 Drakes in exchange for those grubs though, so they do have a win condition. Infernal Soul, it's about 7 minutes away if they manage to take both these dragons on spawn, but they need to be in the position to do so. They need to make sure they're not losing out on any fights beforehand. No one's getting picked, and the risk is always there with the Realm Warp that someone just a little bit out of position will immediately be jumped up.
Yeah, and it looks like Vitality were not really comfortable starting the Herald on spawn, because they really want to make sure Czajek is fine by himself down in bot lane. They don't want to let him die for nothing.
Isn't it? Because it's also up in 35 seconds.
Okay, but the icon was different. That's my bad.
Yeah, it gets confusing sometimes. Sometimes the spec client...
okay, but then it makes sense that they're down here, because now they can secure bot lane push for Czajek, so you can actually walk up with that and then rotate towards the Herald. Here's going to be a good trade, getting the Rune Prison down.
Yeah, Nisqy doesn't have flash though. Like a Shadowing Strike flash there maybe would have been enough follow-up, but Jackie's able to get away in time. Nisqy will recall and then go towards the top side. Try and get some vision down here. It is GIANTX who've set up around the Rift Herald that little bit earlier. Things coming out onto it. You can see Naako backing as well. Does have the teleport. Czajek on his way out towards the map right now. Vitality kind of gave up on this Rift Herald with that play down towards bottom side. So Isma should be able to secure this one himself, and Vitality are going to take the Drake in exchange.
And here it's important that while Vitality will lose this Rift Herald, they will gain a turn of tempo in exchange for it. And we need to look at how they're going to use their time, because now GX used a lot of time and resources to get this Rift Herald. So what is Vitality going to use with their time? They're going to try to do the Drake.
And that makes sense. You stop the stacking. GIANTX are now 10 minutes away from a soul rather than being 5 minutes away from it. In exchange for a Rift Herald, that's likely going to be a tower that goes down. We'll see where GIANTX decide to use that. Nisqy hovering Czajek, and actually GIANTX using the fact that they know Vitality are using their tempo to take that bot side dragon to just invest in the top side, bring 3 people up here. Should be able to take a tier 1. It looks like Lot is defending against Naako down on the bot lane tier 1, and Noah doing a good enough job of keeping Carzzy at bay.
Yeah, GX doing good macro decisions and getting back into the game, getting back into control, and now they've kind of equalized the position that Vitality had early. The 1.5k goalie that Vitality once had is now null and void, and they're kind of...
Noah. Oh, flash forward. Cease and desist going in as well. There's the Magnet Storm. Carzzy was tanking the tower, but not for long enough. Isma is going to fall to the Ignite. He'll die to it in the end, but an incredible Pop Blossom catches too. Czajek's TP'd in. Lyncas flashing forward. What are you doing, man? That was a tree with a death wish. His bark, much worse than his bite.
And this is what you get with Vitality. Sometimes you get the really good games, and sometimes you get this chaotic madness. It's a debatable decision by Vitality to go for that. I think it looked good for 1 second there where Carzzy might actually survive, but the second where Isma doesn't die to that burn, it just becomes a disaster for Vitality, and all the players just lose their mind. Even, it's debatable if Lyncas should have flashed in there, that's for sure.
I don't think it's debatable. I think objectively you can say this was a bad choice from Lyncas. Great from Jun though. Flash forward, you have the Between Worlds coming in from Jackie's as well. That Venn diagram of pain, amazing. Lyncas then is like, maybe we can kill Noah, but Jackie's does a good job of stepping in front of the overload to make sure that's not going to connect, and it was just greedy from Vitality. It felt like after they got the pressure on the mid lane tower, they were just overstepping a bit too much.
And that's what we were touching on before. When you draft a Neeko against these dive comps, if they dive, they have to dive through your Pop Blossom, and that's when you get these bang-a-rang mega ults.
Yeah.
And that is a great ult from Jun, and really happy to see him step up and get these performances that we expect from him. Not only that one, but also the one in the Vitality blue side jungle. Really good game for him so far. Really excited to see.
Yeah, 0-0-5 at the moment on the Neeko. Has been involved in every kill of the game for his team alongside Isma and Noah. GIANTX now with a 1.6k gold lead for themselves, and that Rift Herald coming to fruition as they will use it in the mid lane. This should be the tower.
Oh, look at
Nisqy's
Nisqy.
looking for a flank position as he works his way in. Does have the Magnet Storm and has the flash. Where you going, Nisqy? Finds two. It's only Isma and Laure, though. Pop Blossom going down only onto Nisqy. The chase comes in with the Nature's Grasp on the Windwall, keeping Nisqy alive. On the front line, it's Laure. Last breath is his, but Nato falls as well. Two so far over to GIANTX as Nisqy fell to the Between Worlds. Czajek and Carzzy trying to put the damage down, but they just don't quite have enough.
Oh, and this is the problem with Yasuo. He looks so flashy, he looks so good. He studied the blade, but he still just gets one shot when people breathe at him. Here, one CC means he actually can't get his damage off, and he can't even one-shot this Kai'Sa that they really try to do. Here, Nisqy finds a really good angle. It looks like he has a really good flank, but Jackis flashes it, and then the Pop Blossom comes out and kind of nullifies that entire engage. Looks for 1 second that this Kai'Sa might die, but he's Kai'Sa-ing. He was buying enough time, and now the fight just crumbles for Vitality.
It's just so hard for them after they go for that all-in to find much more. Nisqy only catching onto Isma and Laure as well means you can't really go in with the last breath follow-up, right? If you do, you're in the middle of a Pop Blossom, which is not really where you want to be at all. 2 items complete now for Noah. He has a 400 gold bounty on his head. Jackie's in a similar position, almost at 2 items himself. GIANTX starting to take control of the map. At 2,000, their gold lead. Atakan has spawned down on this bottom side, but for the moment, it looks like GIANTX much more greedy for the gold from towers than to take any of these objectives.
Yeah, and I really want to see Vitality try to use their side lane pressure a lot more. Remember, you traded those early dragons for those grubs, and you drafted a Yasuo and a Ryze. If you go for a team fight in the middle of mid lane, 5v5, that is not in your favor. You gotta leverage your side push and try to either create a number advantage or an eventual tower take on the side lane. You don't want to lean into these 5v5s because that's GX Avenue. That's what they drafted towards, and you shouldn't go into that.
It's harder to do when you are behind in the game, though. When you know the person in your lane has an extra item on you, extra half an item on you, it becomes a lot more tricky to go for that 1-3-1, especially GIANTX can dive towers a lot more easily. They have effective damage and they're tanky enough that they can survive through the barrage of those turrets for a little while at least. For the moment, though, Vitality able to hold on. You can see they've actually brought Czajek down from the top lane with that wave pushing out. Nisqy looking for the engage. Magnet Storm, Pop Blossom, 3-man knockup. Czajek with the Realm Warp gets away from Lot. Noah's already on a rampage as Jun is able to escape towards the backside. Carzzy falling low as well as Noah gets another kill. Dashes away with the supercharge. Now Vitality, to remember, strong. Have to fight against the powers of GIANTX. Czajek going in. Lot rooted up for the second. Naako there as well, but can't quite get close enough. Jun is low, Jackie's about half health. In the end, a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of GIANTX.
Yeah, that could have been very scary for Vitality, but what ended up happening actually is that Lot tried to ult Czajek out of his Realm Warp, but Czajek teleported anyway, and that kind of meant that Vitality, even though they're behind, it was kind of a 5v4 for a few seconds. And going 2-for-1 in that fight, I think is a miracle for Vitality, because that Pop Blossom was huge.
I just want to show you the extent of the map in this game right now. It goes from about, oh, I can't draw apparently. It goes from about here to about here. That's all the map that we really care about. Neither team gives a damn about top lane or mid lane. Mid lane you kind of go because you want to push out one wave, but that's about it. Everyone just cares. Yeah,
there's like a battle royale circle there. Everything is fire around it.
Especially with Drake up as well. It's Atakan and Drake. Naka's going to back. We'll TP back in. So he'll be back to join this party. Lyncas in here. That Jun can use the clone from the shapeshifter to check things out. Isma no flash. In fact, only Noah and Jun have flashes on the side of GIANTX. There's no Pop Blossom either for a couple of seconds time. It's about to come off cooldown though.
Yeah, and look, all of Vitality has to funnel through this tiny little area if they want to get access into this. And that makes it really easy for GX to hold that spot because they can't go through there against a Neeko and an Aurora. So they kind of have to concede this area. If we want to see Vitality contest these points, they need to go from multiple angles and preferably fight in more open areas, which is not that easy to control for just one big AoE ultimate.
Yeah, there is also the option of not contesting the Atakan and the Inferno Drake.
No, there was a Ring of Fire. They had to go. They had to go.
I forgot it was a Ring. My mistake, guys. Right, and now we see Naako going up towards top lane. You can see Carzzy in mid. Atakan available to GIANTX if they want to take it, but they've already got the Drake. That puts them on Soul Point. Well played by them. Vitality struggling in this game after a couple of poor fights overall. A 2,000 gold lead for GIANTX feels like a lot more. I'll be honest, Vitality really haven't been coming out on top of either of the previous plays. A lot of that comes down to, I think, this Neeko pick. Like, the Neeko has been so powerful alongside the Aurora at stopping Vitality doing what they want to do.
Yeah. also comes down to the Yasuo pick, not really being able to do much in the team fight. But the
Czajek flashing forward, Nisqy going in as well. Czajek and Nisqy on the same page. They get the shutdown. Beautifully played from the Vitality mid laner, who is yet to die this series, I will add. Went 1-0-10, I think, in the first game. Now 3-0-2 on this Ryze. TP coming in from Naako. Look at the flank position from Isma, though. He's going to get behind them. He's going to be spotted on a ward as he goes forward. Naako able to dodge away from the root there. 12,000 on the Atakan.
wow. And what is better than one mid laner? Two mid laners! Vitality does start off this Atakan though, and then it is a sketchy position to be in because that Atakan is shredding all your stats. And it's really hard
to the steal. Last breath on Isma. Able to get there for the smite though, but it's secured by Lyncas. And Isma dies afterwards. Czajek has the false life to keep him alive. Jun dived on as well by Naako, who's looking for more. Wind wall up. Last breath for Noah. A beautiful fight for Vitality. Absolutely out of nowhere.
Screw your sidelines, screw your drafts, we have hands! Vitality comes in and just handshakes all of GX and they just fight better. Great team fighting and a great smite by Lyncas and great dancing by Czajek. They do so much right and what a great fight by them.
Naako just gonna win this? He's got the false life, he dodges away through the Krugs, we'll heal up from them again. He's going for more. He's like, mate, you can have 200 gold if you can pry it out of my cold, dead hands. We'll take the tower instead. Jackie's forced away now. Baron started for Vitality. Jackie's doesn't have the TP. Oh, this game has just absolutely flipped on its head.
And GX, how do you fumble this? You had the teamfight comp, you had the goal lead, you had the dragons. It was all in your hands, and it's slipping away from your fingers.
Man, this is a historic fumble from GIANTX. I thought yesterday was the worst fumble they could have had, but today seems to be the same. Great catch again from Czajek. We talked about it. Flash, spell flux, root prison into Hylissang following flash. Sorry, Hylissang Nisqy.
Well, it was spending better. He gets spotted out there, yeah. But I want you to look at Lot. He tries to ult out Lyncas so he doesn't get the smite on the Atakan. But Lyncas says, no, I'm gonna get back into it and I'm gonna smite fight you and I'm gonna get it because I am him. He gets in, flashes, smites it with the Bramble Smash and gets the Atakan. And here everything collapses for GIANTX. Suddenly, even if you win the fight now, it doesn't matter. And they just scramble. And look at Czajek, he's dancing, he's tap dancing. And he gets out. Middle of the kill animation doesn't go off. And what an amazing fight for Vitality.
Nisqy says, holy moly.
I agree. I like it.
He agrees.
He agrees. Literally my reaction.
And now Vitality just shoving forward. Remember, 6 grubs picked up earlier in the game. They will take the mid lane inhibitor tower. They're looking for more. Nature's Grass coming out. Lot's going to be rooted up by it. The twisted advance as well from Lyncas into the last breath for Lot. Carzzy takes the kill. And now 2 waves pushed in, didn't even need the 1-3-1. The 5-man Protoss A move is all you need for Vitality.
Turns out pushing towers is pretty easy with 6 grubs and a Baron and a split push comp. They get 2 inhibs, and now they're just gonna reset. They're gonna walk back out on the bot side of the map, get this dragon, get this bot push, and win the game.
You know we have a circle that you can just put on the map.
No, I like drawing my circles manually. It's like
we also, for future reference, we have arrows that show direction.
Wow.
So if you want to be like, they're going to walk out here. Oh no, it reset. No, okay, you're right, yeah. I'm wrong. I'm
we also have this if you want to like... If you wanna use your git, okay. No, let's not talk about that. We have still a fight coming up. It's sole point for GIANTX, but Vitality is first in the river, which makes it really hard to face check. I think we need to see a really big pop blossom from Jun. I think that's their only hope right now.
Hex Flash on the Magnet Storm. It's a possibility. Drake up in 9 seconds time. He'll step forward, get a little revision in the bush there, as Vitality will have to try and battle for this mid lane wave. As you say, a big Pop Blossom could spell the end for Vitality, but GIANTX are backed away. The Drake will be secured. They want to make sure these waves can't all crash at the same time. You can see the pings coming out onto them, so Jackie's is going to go deal with top. Noah's catching mid. Bot wave still a while away for Vitality.
But you can't just walk through a Rell. You can't just walk through a Maokai with a Yasuo last breath to follow up. It's just so hard for GX right now. They are struggling. They're grasping for anything that can claw themselves back into this game because they need a quick pick. They need Vi or Jun to find someone because right now it's just slipping away way too fast.
With Naako pushing in mid, there's going to be 2 prongs of pressure here for Vitality. They have lost that Baron buff. It's expired. Pop Blossom in. That's 3. Czajek has the stopwatch though, and the Nature's Grass coming out. Czajek should be able to survive for a long time here. Who's locked in here with whom? Czajek begins to open up, and Nako's looking for the flank position as well. Realm War forward, we're going in, baby! Immediately engage, there's 2. Make it 3, make it 4. Only Jackie survives, and all he can do is put on his dancing shoes and bounce around, as in the end, he's put 6 feet in the ground.
And the rookies of Vitality are insane! Czajek just holds his ground and just machine guns away. 400 CS, don't be Ryze hack. He does not waver, he does not crumble, and he holds his ground towards the onslaught that is GX.
Vitality in dominant fashion, 2-0. They breathe life into their spring split with an impressive start to the season. The question is, will it continue? For GIANTX, 0-4 in 4 games. Disappointment. This game, the game 2 against Fnatic, victory was there, it was in their hands, but they just couldn't get over that final hurdle.
Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking to see. I think GX had a really good moments these games, but I think in the end it really came down to that Atacant fight where they kind of crumbled, they kind of misexecuted despite having the better team fight comp. And
you can vote for one of your players, your key player of the series. Vote Nato, Lyncas, or Czajek. Like, between the 2 rookies, man, Naako and Czajek, Lyncas had a good series, right? Yeah. No qualms about it, but Naako or Czajek, both of them absolutely excel.
Yeah, but it's crazy that the 2...
I think probably Czajek. I mean, Czajek played the Yasuo.
Yeah. I mean, Czajek was great both games. I think he had a stellar performance. Naako had a crazy Laure, but in the end, anyone I'm happy with. I think it's crazy when the 2 quietest players on your teams is Nisqy and Carzzy, the big stars, are not the ones that is popping up. It is the rookies that carry you into these successes, and really impressive once again from Vitality.
I very much agree. For GIANTX, they need to go back to the drawing board a little bit, or maybe even have a drawing board for a little bit of time, because they've only, like they said, they've only had a couple of weeks of practice, right? Haven't had as much time as they would like. But if you're Vitality, you're looking at this, you're like, hey guys, we got 5th regular season last time. If we can match that, maybe even crack into the top 4, like MKOI are looking beatable. Is that where you think the challenge is? MKOI, BDS, and Vitality kind of for that 4th spot?
Yeah, I mean, let's see how long this honeymoon phase kind of lasts, because whenever you get a new player on your team, everything is great, everything is new. So let's see how Nisqy can develop as a support in this league.
How was the wedding, Nisqy? You're in the honeymoon phase. We're going to hand it over to Sjokz, who's standing by with him.
I will find out in this Married Bonvoy post-game check-in with Nisqy 2-0 in his first foray as a support. Incredible! So, is it honeymoon phase or what is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like whatever I do, we just win anyway. So, I mean, first day a bit rough, I would say, for me. But and we won anyway, so I'm happy. In the end, that's all that matters.
Yes, I mean, maybe it was a bit rough for you, but it wasn't for your team. And I want you to say something about the players you're playing with in terms of the ones that don't have that much experience. Oh my God, your mid laner, your top laner, the whole team. What do you want to say about them?
I mean, I actually think my solo laners are really good. I mean, Naak usually looks better than this in scrims, but but yeah, I mean, he plays a lot of champions. I feel like my support champions also like work well with his champion pool on the top lane. But I feel like the biggest, I would say, strong point of the team is that everyone has ideas and we all look at like the same pixel. We all know what's going on. Like we don't, I don't know, there's no like silent person or... And yeah, I mean, I think they're really good. I think my top will become one of the best, and I hope Czajek also will become one of the best mids.
Okay, final question. Of course, a lot of people are saying, oh, you think you can just swap to support like it is so easy? This was hard for you. So can you say something towards that as to your first competitive experience as support?
I mean, I think I have a lot of experience in general from before, from playing mid. That's why I think it was kind of easier to roll swap, right? I do think the role is not as easy as people say it is. I think I was kind of lucky to win today. I think June played really, really good, and I think he was better kind of on both games. But in the end, it's a team game, and the support role is also there for like mid-game calls, like team fighting and like putting vision and whatnot. But I think today I was fine, but yeah, we won, I'm happy.
You were fine, you won, and you're only going to get better. Thank you so much, Nisqy. Vitality with a 2-0. And coming up is our match of the week. Our key player of the series, by the way, is Czajek. I forgot to tell you that. But when we come back, it'll be our match of the week. Movistar Koi versus KC.
Give me chaos. Never gonna settle for those boring plays, no way. Give me chaos. some space, give me chaos. Greedy for the glory, so we're only chasing dreams. Making titles, trophies, highlights, international memes, give me chaos.
Damn it. Hey, Dragos, you ready for the... Oh, that doesn't look good. Wait, I have a solution, but you have a break. I will be right back. Just wait.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
See? I told you we'd figure it out.
I don't think this counts.
Come on, let's go.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Wait, is he switching lanes?